Hey everybody, welcome to Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and I'm here with my lovely wife, Dr. Alicia. How you doing today, babe?
Well, the room is spinning a little bit. That's how I'm doing.
Oh, oh,
Let me
Lord.
tell you why an open bar at that place.
You always ask for the open bar.
No, but we went to a really nice event tonight.
Cause she crazy, y'all. She always wants the open bar.
Well, there was an open bar and I took advantage of it.
Yes, you did. And you had some wine, and I looked out for you.
You did. You looked out for
Yeah,
me.
so I don't
But
know if she's gonna be able to take full responsibility for everything she says tonight, and we are going to make this a short pillow talk.
the room is spinning a little bit, but
Is
I'm
it?
okay.
Okay, okay. So everybody are welcome. I know that it's the middle of the night, but we decided we met some of you. We met some of you tonight who said that you watch. Excited to meet you and so inspired that we said, let's jump right back in. Let's jump in and start doing this more often because there's so many of you that show appreciation. We appreciate that. And you can also, even if you catch us online anywhere or you see something in Instagram, particularly, and you have a question you want us to address or an issue or a topic, don't hesitate to send us any topics that you think would be good to cover on the Pillow Talk. So I want to say hello to Robert Thompson and Kill the Captain. And do me a favor, give me a yes in the chat if you can hear us, okay? Let us know. Let us know if you can hear us. Hey, Lynette Perry, how are you? I'm going to make sure I'm coming through okay. And we're not going to go for too long because Alicia's ready for bed. Let's just say that. And I see Anthony Green and Ivy Yancey and Robert Thompson. Thank you for the yeses, Ivy and Robert. I appreciate that. All right, we know that it's late and some of you are going to catch the recording. That's totally cool. But we just decided to go ahead and go live just whenever. We try to be free spirits in that way.
Yeah. So shout out to Julian Gordon and
Yes.
Multifamily Movement. That's
Yeah,
what's up.
we had a good time tonight. We were in New
Yeah.
Orleans, and that's us. We stayed at stayed at that fancy Shea Whitey hotel, the fancy schmancy hotel, and then also that's a picture of me and my brother Lawrence who was here, and I love my brother very much, and that's Alicia Smiley. She's sitting next to D1. D1
Yeah.
is a buddy. He's like a relative actually.
And happy birthday to his date,
Yeah, what
Bree.
was her name? Bree. Yeah,
Yeah, her name
Bree.
is Bree, and today was her birthday.
Oh well, happy birthday to Bree.
That's right.
That's nice. Yeah, yeah. So we came down to New Orleans to have some fun, and we saw this thing online that we just had to address in the pillow talk. We thought it was really interesting, and I'd like to get your thoughts on this. So I'm gonna read. I'm just gonna jump right into it. So the question is, I'm taking my boyfriend and our kids on a family vacation. He feels like I'm wrong for not including his kid. I told him he or his baby mother can pay for their kid if they want to go. I feel like that's not my kid, so that's not my responsibility. And then she says, I'm a wrong. I think she's asking, am I wrong? So what do you think? What do you think? Do you think she's wrong, or do you think that it's okay for her to plan a family vacation to pay for her boyfriend and her kids? Which that right there is kind of interesting, right? Like, what is he contributing? But then she tells him, "You can't bring your kid. I'm only gonna pay for my kids and you."
No, I think she's saying you could bring your kid, but you got to pay for him.
Well, let's see. Wait, let's read it again. She says, "I'm taking my boyfriend and our kids on a family vacation."
So she's paying his way.
It sounds like she says, "I'm taking him on a family vacation." Yeah, he feel like I'm wrong for not including his kid. I told him he or his baby mother can pay for their kid if they want to go. Oh, so he's saying the kid can go, but she's not paying for
She ain't
everybody.
paying for
Well,
it.
I don't think she's wrong.
She ain't paying for him.
I don't think she's wrong because number one, I'm trying to figure out why your woman taking you on vacation like you wanted the kids. Like it's like,
There's
man,
nothing wrong with that though,
you got a
boys.
lady probably with, let's say she got three children, and you could easily be like, no, you really got four kids.
Okay, no, no, no.
Your boyfriend is one of the kids. This. I'm sorry.
I would. Let me
Go
just
ahead.
say, I would take you and your kid on vacation
But
with
I
us.
would not allow you to.
Yeah, but I would do it.
I
I
know
would.
you would, right? But I would not allow you to.
Okay, no, wait. Okay, let me just say, when I went to Guyana,
Hmm.
I did bring you with me to Guyana.
Yeah,
And
but you
if
did.
your child
But no, no,
wanted
no,
to
no, no,
come
no.
along, I would pay
No,
for
no, 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 no,
them.
no, 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 no. Let's be clear. Let's keep this on the record. Dr. Boyce always had his own money. I was a millionaire when we got together, so let's not even play like
Yeah,
that.
but it
Because
didn't
because
matter.
the internet will run away with crazy rumors. Like they seriously, like I no, 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 no. I had my own money, and no, I would don't no, 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 no,
But
no.
it wasn't really my money. It was the government's money.
Well, yeah, but either way though,
And I was still like, I'm taking
no,
you
just
and
as a matter of pride, I would never ever be included in any paragraph that involves somebody like my woman paying for me to like
really?
go on a vacation. No, I just don't do it. No, it's not. It's not
Oh,
appropriate.
come on.
So here's the deal. So with this guy, so she's saying that she's taking her boyfriend. Well, first of all, it's a boyfriend, so it's not a husband, which means that it's a different kind of relationship. That right now, if she was taking her
Ooh.
husband on the trip and her husband had a child, then that would seem more appropriate for her to expect. Like hers is, what's his is
Well, if
mine.
you're married, then it's both of them paying for it, really.
Yeah, I mean, when you're married, I feel like it's like if when you spend money, I'm spending money. When I spend money, you're spending money because we're in it together,
Mm-hmm.
right? And maybe that's an argument in favor of some type kind of commitment because she has no commitment for this man. Like this is her boyfriend,
Ah.
and I think this is kind of the backdrop or the problem when you have just these chaotic, confusing family situations. Anyway, everybody's like, well, no, that's mine. And I remember one time 20 years ago, I dated a girl, and we were at Best Buy, and I left my wallet at home, and I said, hey, can I borrow $50, and I'll pay you when I get back to the dorm. It was like that. I was in graduate school, and she said no. I said, why not? She said, because it's mine. It's my money. I said, yeah, but I'm gonna give it right back to you. Like, what are you talking about? And I remember that made me so mad. I was like,
Yeah, you
wow,
should have been
because I
mad.
would have
Did
glad.
you dump her after that?
Yeah, well, she wasn't that pretty anyway. I didn't like her that much.
An ugly lady wouldn't do it.
Right, exactly. You ugly, so you need to be pulling out your whole wallet. You need to pay for all of this.
She thought she was doing you a favor being with
I
you.
have no idea. I don't. It's all Black history at this point.
Interesting.
So what do you guys think? So here's what I'm when I dissect this, I'm gonna read this again. I'm taking my boyfriend and our kids on a family vacation. So our my boyfriend and our kids. So that means that she's got kids with this man.
Mm-hmm.
Which is I think that there's some old school people who would say it's not like why are you having all these children with a man you're not married to that. But then again, maybe the options aren't there. I don't know. He feels like I'm wrong for not including his kid. So we got our kids and his kid. So, okay, that's
Mm.
interesting. I told him he or his baby mother can pay for their kid if they want to go. So she's saying he can go, but I'm not paying for that lady's kid.
She don't have enough money. She ran out of money.
You
She's
think
like, I
so?
only have enough money for all of us. I hadn't really planned on another person.
Yeah. Well, you know what? When I put on my finance professor hat, one of the things I can say for sure is one of the reasons why I'm a big fan of Black economic intelligence and financial literacy is that when you're smart about money then you tend to have more money, and when you have more money you don't run into problems like this. Like you're not going to fight people over money. Like if I got
Mhm.
like just this for example, when we're going out of town for an extended period of time, one of our girls asked if her friend could go, and money didn't even cross my mind. It wasn't like, oh, well, that's another mouth to feed. We got, if we go to McDonald's now, we got to pay for three kids instead of four kids instead of three. We're not thinking that way because we're financially secure, right? And I think that's a big reason, for parents to put their children in a financially secure position because, when the money problem is kind of gone, you can make decisions based on what you actually want to do, as opposed to fighting over money.
Or maybe she's just not that into him.
Maybe,
Maybe she's just like, I don't really care for him so much. So I ain't paying for this child. I don't see any future in this.
maybe. I don't know. All I know is it sucks for the kids, and that's another
Yeah.
problem. Like when we have these crazy, confusing family situations,
Mm-hmm.
it's confusing as hell for the kids. The kids are just like, I just want to go to Disneyland like
Then they
everybody
don't.
else, and they don't know why, and I get that.
Oh,
Down that I understand because I know, even though my father, I had my biological father, and then I had my stepfather who raised me, but he's really my father, and I didn't even notice that they saw me differently from the other cousins,
who saw you?
his side of the family. They
Ah,
loved me. I was cool. I fit in, but I didn't quite fit in completely the way they did. You know,
you felt like
it,
an outsider.
no, not really. I mean,
Okay.
it's just more like little things I look back on where they did things differently for them than they did for me. It was
Ooh.
because I wasn't their kid. It was my father's job to be paying for me, not my dad who raised me. Like, but he just took that responsibility on. But the point is that, like, kids don't know that. Kids don't know the difference between the adults that are responsible for them and the ones who are not responsible for them. So I think we as adults should be empathetic to that. Like, to me, it's like, even if the kid knows, I might tell the kid, look, I'm not your daddy, but if there's something that the daddy would provide that isn't expensive for me, I would probably provide it. The
Yeah.
kid needs food. We gonna feed this kid.
Yeah,
I,
I do. I agree with you. I think that you need to treat all the children the same. So,
yeah,
like everybody, no matter what, because you think about it, like your household has a certain income, but then your child's household, if they don't live with you, they have another income level.
yeah,
So if you have more money than they do, you really don't need to let them feel it. Like
yeah,
when they're at your house, everybody needs to get the same amount of money. Everybody gets needs to get the same amount of food. And everybody needs to go on the same vacation together and not say, well, because you're less than in terms of economics at your mama house, you can't come over here and live like everybody else,
yeah,
right? So
yeah.
you do need to have a commitment that everybody gets treated equally, and that's what I like about black families, because
Hmm.
for the most part, it's I see black families really saying no, everybody gets treated the same,
Right.
mostly.
Yeah, and I just wish we would do a little more Planned Parenthood. That's it. Everybody talks about Planned Parenthood when it comes to abortion, but don't nobody talk about Planned Parenthood when it comes to having a baby. More
Yeah.
more babies are born than there are aborted, and I think, if I'm not mistaken. And to me, when you talk about planning it, don't create a shit show for your family. Like, if you have structure and all the kids have the same mama and the same daddy and they live in the same household, it's easy to have a uniform
Mm.
procedure. But if you don't, you get into these stupid debates that drive me crazy. Like, well, if I buy McDonald's for my son, I'm not gonna buy McDonald's for them other kids. First of
Did you
all,
see that story, boys?
yeah, I did. But that was actually, they said that was a skit. That wasn't actually.
I thought it was for real.
No, I think it was a skit.
No, it wasn't a ski. No, when the lady was on and she said that her baby, wait,
Her
when
baby, he bought the McDonald's and he
he
didn't.
brought McDonald's for
Yeah,
his child,
but
but
I
he
don't.
didn't buy McDonald's for
Yeah,
everyone else.
but I don't
No,
think.
that was
No,
real.
look it up. I think it was a skit. But either way, it led to a deep conversation,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so my point is to say, when you don't do good Planned Parenthood, you end up having those stupid conversations. Like, if
What do
I,
you mean by
it because
Planned Parenthood?
it means having a plan for your life. I don't know why. I think that hip hop just screwed up the brains of black people so bad that some of us, not all of us, but some of us really believe you're supposed to go through life without a plan, without being prepared for a disaster, or being prepared for difficult situations. Because a little planning would lead to two things. One, if you make a plan, you could be financially secure, so that by the time you're having kids, you're not deciding which kid gets to eat McDonald's and which one doesn't. Because paying for McDonald's ain't a big deal when you've got streams of income or
Or
business or investments.
by the way, let me just add something in there. I do want you to continue with what you're saying, but the thing is that I'm not certain going to McDonald's is the best nutritional
Well,
meal plan
I
for your
mean, I mean,
family.
shit. Kids like McDonald's. I love McDonald's. How many of y'all like McDonald's when you were a kid? I know y'all probably. Some of y'all probably don't
I
eat it
like
now.
McDonald's, but my parents
Don't
never
lie.
bought me
Don't
McDonald's.
lie. Well,
Do you know my parents never bought me
I
McDonald's?
consider that to be a form of abuse.
I think so too.
That's
You need
neglect.
to talk to my parents about it.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Anybody else remember begging your mama for McDonald's money? And she said,
She never got me.
I ain't got no McDonald's money." And then
No.
and then you see a $20 bill hanging out of her purse, and you would just get so mad because you could buy like French fries and a burger for like $2.50 at that time.
Yeah, my mom was like, I'm not paying $3 for a burger.
Right, and that's just abuse.
She cooked. My mom cooked every day.
Well, your mom kept you healthy too. Like it's probably not like a badge of honor that my mama took me to McDonald's. But either way
You
though,
were so rich.
I didn't like that whole debate where it's like you got your children fighting over scarce resources because you didn't make a plan for your life. You're bringing kids into this damn world. You ain't got a pot to piss in. You haven't. There's no structure there. You got babies, mamas everywhere, baby daddies everywhere. Like I really just think that we need to declare war on broken family. On the broken family structure.
Mhm.
Like I'm not on broken families, not on single mothers, not on single dads. I don't. I'm not saying that. I'm saying we gotta really just kind of just understand like a lot of these situations are preventable, and you got to get help, get your therapy, get your mentorship or whatever. But and I don't know what did it, but just there's like a decay in the thinking and the planning. So what happens is that when you have a chaotic situation where it's like you got four kids coming into the world, it's like, and each kid is like, well, your daddy does this and my daddy does that. Every kid got a different daddy. Everybody's daddy treats them different. I got McDonald's, you ain't getting no McDonald's because your daddy's in prison. That's just a mess.
Yeah,
It's just a damn
it
mess.
is. And I really think that if there's not enough income or if there's not enough money for everybody, then we don't go.
Hmm.
If we can't afford for all of us to go on this vacation, then none of us get to go.
Yeah,
Or if we can put our resources together so that everybody gets to go, then we all get to go.
yeah,
Like that would be great family planning. Because I mean things happen, boys.
yeah. So let me go and let me pull back. By the way, you're listening to Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. I'm a finance professor. My wife, Alicia, is a licensed therapist who has been seeing couples for many, many years, and she's also a full professor of social work. So what we like to do is have intelligent conversations surrounding areas related to love and money and everything in between. If you'd like to learn more about what Dr. Alicia does, you can go to coachingwithdralicia.com. And also, if you'd like some free resources on drama free lifestyles when it comes to money and relationships, just visit boyceandalicia.com. We have free resources that you can pick up. Also, you can subscribe to the platform there. All right, so let me just kind of read this one more time and I'm going to give a summary on my response. I like your summary, babe. Okay, you ready?
Hmm.
You ready? All right, here we go. So I'm gonna read this question, and then I'm gonna give my quick response. What I would say to this young lady if I was talking to her. I'm taking my boyfriend and our kids on a family vacation. Okay, that's why I interrupt and I say, you should not be taking him on family vacations. He should be chipping in. Like I would just say, like, what is his contribution, or are you paying for everything? That right there sets the wrong
Well,
precedent.
I think it's her idea. Maybe the vacation is her idea and she's sparking
Yeah, I get
the
it.
whole vacation.
I get it, but he should still contribute. I just feel that that's just important. I believe in a little bit in gender roles, and I think as a man, it
Yeah.
should be a little embarrassing to him if she's paying for everything,
Well, she's like, it's
including
my idea. I pay
right.
for it. That's what it's gonna be.
Right. So
Okay.
here's what's interesting. So she says he feels like I'm wrong for not including his kid. I told him he or his baby mother can pay for the kid if they want to go. So what's really happening with him is he's seeing a transfer of power. This is what happens when men get emasculated and women become the masculine creatures in the family. It's when the man converts himself into what Dolores Jones refers to as the hobosexual. The hobosexual is the guy who is there to have sex with the woman, but he's bumming off her financially. That is not in a man's nature. It is not in a man's nature for you to be broke, laid up with a woman, taking all the goodies and not contributing to the household. You get your ass up there and you work. You go find a way to contribute something. So basically, by her taking the reins and paying for everything, and him allowing this to happen, he's lost power.
Well,
So
I
now,
don't. Yeah, that's very interesting. So I'm not certain if he's allowing her to do it. She's just doing it.
well, either way, it seems like just it's a weird kind of almost backward scenario, and just the idea that he would even expect that he could just bring this child in from this whole other relationship and expect his girlfriend to cover the cost.
Well,
That's kind of crazy.
what's wrong with the woman making more money? Maybe she makes more money than he does. What's wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with the woman making more money, but there is a problem when the man makes no money. I think the man should contribute something.
Mm-hmm.
Just to the point where he could at least say, okay, I will allow you to pay for things, but I'm here if you need me. If you need me to have your back, I got you. And if it does get disrespectful, like where she's talking down on him or whatever because she's paying for everything, and I've seen that happen. I knew a lady who was a corporate executive. She was married to a guy that worked at the post office. She was paying for everything, so she became very disrespectful toward him. I think resentful
Really?
because she wanted more for the household, and she couldn't get it because he worked at the post office. Well, also it turned out at the same time that he had girlfriends like all over the city. He was just, he wasn't.
You know that happens. There's
Mm,
research studies on that.
mm-hmm.
That men who make less money than their spouse tend to cheat
Mm,
because it's almost like they lose their sense of manhood, and that like having extramarital relationships is a way for them to establish their manhood.
mm,
That's a consistent study across the board,
mm.
that tends to happen. But what's more likely to happen? I'm not saying it happens for everybody.
Yeah, that kind of sucks, I guess.
And it's like that specifically for black men.
Hmm, very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. It's really tough. So I think that if I were her father, I'd probably say, well, what is he contributing? And then I would probably look at him and say, why do you expect her to pay for you and also pay for your child? It's bad enough that she's paying for you and you're paying nothing. It's even worse when you're trying to bring these other people along. And then this child, unfortunately, if if they don't have parents that are willing to cover their cost, how's that child gonna feel? When you
Oh,
say
child's
you
gonna
can't.
feel terrible. It's
Yeah.
like they're siblings. These children are siblings to each other. I mean, it could be a different mother, but they still are blood relatives.
Hmm.
And why not include everybody?
Yeah.
As many people as you can conclude.
Uh,
Why not make that sacrifice so that everybody's available? And maybe she's like, hey, let's all put our money together. Ask his mama. Ask his mama, the baby mama, to put her money together. Let's all of us put our money together so we can go.
yeah. Well,
You know?
either way, I wish them the best. And anybody listening, if you haven't had kids or yet, or you're thinking about your future, just remember people who have a plan tend to be in a better position than people who don't have a plan. And if you
Hmm.
are stuck, if you are stuck and you're not sure what to do, there are people out there that can help you. There are books out there you can read. There's courses you can take. There's stuff on YouTube University. I would encourage you, like, get the information, man. Like, don't live your life like these people that are making one mistake after another, and then they walk around talking about how sad they are. Be smart, have a plan. That to me, that's what I call Planned Parenthood. Down.
Yeah, but the plan has to be together. Like you and your spouse have to come together and decide, okay, how are we going to manage these children?
Hmm.
What are going to be the rules when we go on vacation, when we go out to eat? It doesn't have to be vacation. When we do things together, when who are we going to involve?
Hmm.
Christmas time, everybody needs to get the same amount of gifts. You don't want one set of children to get gifts and then the other set of kids don't get no gifts.
Right. That's just trifling.
I mean, I don't think that's fair for the
I
children.
think it's demonic for a parent to do that and take better care of one child than the other. Like
Yeah.
they're literally setting those poor kids up for a lifetime of
And
pain.
kids notice. Kids, think children don't notice?
Oh,
They
kids
notice
notice.
who gets more and who doesn't.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
creates such animosity, and then you feel like you're less than, and
Hmm.
it creates like a problem between the children.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's say
Yeah.
Don Scott says Dr. Boyce, you called it right about Elon Musk backing out of that Twitter deal. Yeah, that writing was on the wall, Don. But what I do think is going to happen is it's very rare for a company to be able to back out of a merger plan. What he's trying to argue is that Twitter just had I think it's a materially adverse effects. I think they call it MAE, and it's very rare that you can win a lawsuit based on MAE. So what's probably going to happen is they're going to force him to buy Twitter, but he's going to pay a lower price. So.
What is up with Elon Musk? Like I think he's got commitment issues. Like it
um,
seems like his personal life and the fact that he married that lady twice and he's got all these baby mamas. I'm sorry, Elon Musk has got how many baby mamas now?
Probably about four.
You know, 4 or 5 baby mamas. There's something with him when it comes to like commitment and when it comes to him like following through with his plans. Like this whole deal with Twitter, to me, it just mirrors his entire interpersonal relationships.
Well, it'll be interesting. I don't know. I mean, maybe
Like
he's
there's something to that.
well. You know, I mean, there probably is. I
You
don't.
don't think so, really?
Yeah, I mean, I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. I mean, I see it with him. I expect almost anybody that's done what he's done to be a little weird, like or a guy like say a Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan's mentally disturbed because he had to have some kind of pain that fueled his passion. So
Mm-hmm.
with Elon Musk to work as hard as he works and do all the stuff that he's doing, I know that feeling. Just being in beast mode all the time when it comes to work, it creates a distorted personal life. When I used to just work nonstop, I had a very distorted, very imbalanced personal life.
You
You
feel
know,
you're more balanced now? Do you feel like because you're married that you're a little more, you've lost your edge? Have you lost your edge, boys?
well, I
Have I
did.
softened you now?
Well, the thing is, I probably, but the thing is, I was intentional about that. Again, I make plans. I make 5, 10 year plans for my life. So my 10 year plan was in my 40s, I want to settle down and get married and live like regular people. In my 30s, I didn't want to do that. In my 30s, I was single. I was happy being single. I was not looking to marry anybody.
Wait, if
Um,
we dated in your 30s, are you trying to say you wouldn't marry all of this? You
um,
wouldn't want to put a ring on this,
well, I think you're gorgeous, and I love you.
but you wouldn't want to commit to me? What's up with that?
I can't say I wouldn't. I would just say I would be reluctant because it was hard in my third. Because I was. I mean, if you're working 10, 12 hours a day and you just don't want anything to get in the way of that, like in that stage of my life, it was better for me to have a pure life where I could literally just focus all my energy on my goals. And I
You
and
don't think you could like get married to me and then have children back
um.
then in your 30s?
Well, the thing is that marriage requires a lot of energy on its own. It's like, I mean, marriage really is like a project in itself. I don't know how many married people are in here, but like you got to really be ready to commit yourself to all the shit that just comes with like managing a family. It's hard work. So I just didn't at that time feel like it would be something that would be good for me based on the fact that I was so overly, I had these unfulfilled desires. Like I wanted to succeed at the highest levels. I wanted to be
There are a
really
lot
good.
of successful men who got married in their 30s and they haven't been able to do it.
Yeah, but there's a lot of those men are also in divorce court, and I didn't want to end up in divorce court. So, because I had a lot of friends who were divorced, so I just said, okay, instead of dragging another person through all this, especially being an entrepreneur, where 1 month you got money, next month you're broke, then you got money again, then you're broke. I didn't want to spend time arguing with my wife and having to.
So we couldn't go on vacation and bring all the kids with us.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, I preferred to get.
I'll take you on
Yeah,
vacation.
yeah, I
I
want to.
was making good money
But
back then.
I wanted to get married once I was financially secure. So like now, see, here's the thing, right? So when you and I got married, I was in my late 40s. I had already achieved almost all my every goal I ever had, every dream I ever had. I achieved almost all of them, and I had money. I had plenty of money in the bank.
I don't get it.
So
I
it
don't know. Like, I don't know why men feel like they can't get married until they got their money a certain way. Like,
um
I don't get that.
well
That's
because
not what we as women really want.
because men not I can't speak for all men. I can only speak for ambitious men. Ambitious men, we feel like punks when we don't have what we need. Like when you want to win, when you have that hunger, you don't want to walk around like like a little handicapped kid. You
That's
know,
not handy. See, we as women, we just love you anyway.
I know you love us anyway, but the thing is,
And
but you can stress us out if we're like if the money ain't right.
no,
What
we do
women
not.
let me just say this: when I wrote that book Financial Lovemaking and I interviewed dozens of women about their financial situation, I learned without a doubt that financial instability really affects women emotionally.
Okay,
They
so
do not like it. So, and remember
uh
this:
huh.
as an entrepreneur, my life was very financially unstable in the beginning, and I didn't want to drag another person through that. My brother, I dragged him through it because he's very stable. He's very cool. He's not going to harass me. He's not going to be like, "Well, we didn't pay the mortgage, and where's the money? You need to stop this." pipe dream. He didn't do all that. He just say, okay, well, so the car got repossessed. All right, well, at least we got another car.
No. Listen, what I'm saying is that you live within your means no matter what. So
Mm-hmm.
there are plenty of entrepreneur families in their 30s that are up and coming, and they are married and they have
Mm-hmm.
families,
Mm-hmm.
and they're able to live within their means, below their means, so that they can be a little more risky in their business. So I'm saying is that there's a lot of balance that's there, and men need to stop thinking that they're only worthy of being a husband when they have money,
Well,
because that's not really
well,
what
then,
us as women
well,
really
then
want.
also sometimes, like when you're younger, it's the monogamy thing is a lot harder to do when you're in your
Well,
20s and 30s.
that would be for
That's
you.
but no, I think I from all my male friends that I know, many of them have had,
You have to speak for yourself though.
no, no, I know. I'm speaking for my friends and the guys I know. It's like, I think that that's worth putting on the table. So I think if you're not interested in monogamy, which I don't know, I can't say I was super interested in it when I was in my 20s. It wasn't like I was trying to just
I'm talking about
run the
30s.
streets. 30s are still a little bit of that in you, but it's more so like I just believe you should make your own choice. The feminists get to say, do what they want to do and say what they want to say.
How
Well,
so?
they just could
How so?
they run around, they say my body, my choice and all that. Well, I
No,
said
they don't.
I
There's a
I
lot of
said
people who say that.
I said my
That's not a
well I said
tie.
well
That's not
my motto
saying that is not
my
tied
motto but
to a
my
certain label.
right,
A
but
lot of people feel
okay,
that way.
my motto was my life, my choice. So
Mm-hmm.
when people would say, "Well, why aren't you married yet?" I say, "Well, why don't you go get married? I don't want to get married. I don't need to get married. I'll get
Mm-hmm.
married when the time is right." So my plan, I had a plan. My plan in my early 30s was I'm going to spend my 30s working my butt off so I can achieve my goals without being deterred. I don't want to have to talk. I don't have to explain it to anybody. I don't want to have to get anybody's cosign. I want to just do this and do it right. And so I did that. And then I said, okay, now that I'm in my 40s, I want to go and live a little bit more of a normal life because I don't want to live like this forever. Because I know that, you get it.
That's very retroactive. You just kind of fit. You have fit what's happened into what you say you really wanted.
Oh, no, I used to
But
say,
I used to. But
no,
you were engaged to be
I
married
wasn't
in your
getting I
30s.
certainly was, right?
You
And,
wouldn't. You
but
would have
here,
been faithful to
right,
that lady.
right. But here's the thing about the engagement in my 30s, right? I wanted to marry her and I thought she was awesome. But when she wavered and said, I don't think I want to marry you, I didn't talk her out of it. I was like, okay, no problem. And it was fine. It wasn't like I was
Hmm.
determined, right? So the point of the matter though is
Wait,
that
so she was a little lukewarm on you or something? What'd you say to
I
her?
don't know. I don't want to talk
You
about it.
said something to her that made her
Well, I don't.
lukewarm.
I would rather not talk about it. But the point is that that at the end of the day, I made my choice for my life. I had a plan for my life, and it was the plan that I
Hmm.
executed. And sure, I could have got married in my 30s, but I didn't. And and in my 40s, I was like, okay, now I want a different experience. So I personally think people have the right to make the choice they need to make. And one of the things I always tell guys, and this is where people thought that I didn't like Kevin Samuels, and that's not true. I thought Kevin Samuels was smart in some areas, but in
How so?
well, he was logical. He's very logical, very intelligent man. He just learned that being mean and harsh was going to get him a lot of views on YouTube, and that was the part that I just disagreed with, where I was like, I don't think you have to tell people they're going to die alone to make your point. I think you can make your point without.
You bring him up in a lot of discussions, I noticed.
Yeah, right, right. So my point is to say that like the guys thought that I didn't like Kevin because I was warning them. I said, look, when you're in your 40s and 50s, you probably shouldn't try to date like you did in your 20s and 30s. A lot of these guys think they ain't never gonna get old. They swear they want to be players for life. And you see it with rappers sometimes. That's why you see these rappers that'll die at 45 years old or have strokes at 42, 43, because you smoking, drinking, and living wild like you did when you were 25 and your body can't take it no more. And I think that's what killed Kevin. He died of a heart attack because you 57. You out here.
Nobody's making you a home cooked meal.
Yeah,
He was just a single man
right
living
at
in a
57.
way that wasn't
Right at 57,
okay.
in my view, your goal, you know, I don't know. Again, I'm not speaking down on anybody, but I will say, if you met this lady 24 hours before you died, you don't want to die in the arms of a lady you just met. Not at no 57 years old. Now, if you're 27, hey, that's different. Well, you're 57, you're almost 60. That means your life has to evolve. And I think that black men have to grow up. You know, the smart men are the ones who kind of say, like the guy we met today, Vernon out of Alabama. So let me tell you about Vernon. So I met this guy. We're standing on the corner in New Orleans, right? We're headed over to the hotel. And a guy stops his truck and he says, "Hey, Dr. Boyce." I said, "Hey, brother, how you doing?" And he said, "Hey, man, I listen to you. I listen to, oh, Dr. Alicia, I listen to y'all's people talk." Right? So me and Bernard are just chopping it up, going back and forth. Coolest guy in the world. He's in the pickup truck. I'm waiting for an Uber. And I said, "Hey, man, can you give us a ride?" And, that way we could keep talking. In the end, we could get a ride to the hotel. And he said, "Sure." So we got in the car with Vernon. Check this out. Vernon has been married 33 years. He served as a U.S. Marshal for a long time. He's a retired U.S. Marshal, retired military. Shout out to everybody in here that served the country. I appreciate you. He had a ton
And
of
the Air Force.
he had a bunch of money in his 401k. I won't tell you what the amount was, but he was doing good, and he also had started buying property. And he literally actually told me that he said, "You were the reason I quit my job." And I said, "Man, wow, that's amazing." And to me, I liked, you know what I liked about Vernon?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I liked about him?
What was that?
He was a grown ass man. He was
Yeah,
he was a man who had
yeah,
made
but he was married 30 years and he
right.
was fine with that.
Okay, that's true
I
too.
mean, he flies in the face of everything that you
That's
just have
no no
sitting
no
here
no no
talking
no no no
about.
no no. But what I'm saying to you though, right? You're
By
right.
the way,
Okay, excellent point. Excellent point.
so you're
Excellent.
not speaking for all men.
Excellent point. I'm not speaking for all men,
Okay.
but I am saying my point with Vernon is to say that Vernon is a guy who lived his life as a grown ass man. He didn't, he didn't just
He's not
because
immature.
what they do is they end up like hip hop music convinces a lot of black men to live like teenagers. Like it just kind of presents these 40-year-old guys running around here like little kids, and you see it on the internet. You see 45, 50 year olds arguing like little children. It's embarrassing. It's pathetic. And I just really think as black people, we have to raise the bar. So
Mhm.
overall, long story short, I don't think anybody has to be forced to be married because marriage is hard. And I think people should do it if they want to do it. If they don't want to do it, they shouldn't be pressured to do
I
it.
don't think marriage is hard. I think the people who get married sometimes make it difficult.
Either way.
More difficult than what it has to be. And I think that we bring so much of our baggage. A lot of us have baggage. So like this lady with this pillow talk, this lady and this her boyfriend, they're bringing their baggage into the relationship. So it's not the marriage that's difficult or relationships that are difficult. It's really just what you bring to it and your background and some of your triggers and some of your issues you bring into the relationship.
Yeah,
How could you not?
or I think that it's just hard in the world we live in. I think we live in a world that encourages people to be selfish and to want what they want and to believe that if you can't get what you want in your relationship, then you should end and you
Why
should
can't you get
end it.
why can't you and your spouse get what you want? Like boys,
No, no, no.
why can't we be fabulous with ourselves with each other?
I think we can.
And
I think
why can we not live?
because human beings are not the same,
No, it's your
and two
mind.
people may have different goals. So the man may say, "I believe I want to be." To me, freedom means this. If the woman may say, "Well, if you do this, then I'm going to divorce you because that means you're mistreating me," right? And so I mean, so ultimately, I think overall, it's easier in a selfish world for people to find their bliss individually. But what I think they forget is that if you can humble yourself to be
Hmm.
part of a collective, you can get a whole lot more done. Like it's easier,
Hmm.
like so like this single parenting thing. It's really hard to be a single parent. It's hard to be a single mother. It's hard to be a single father.
Well, it's easier to be a single mother than it is to be in a relationship where there's abuse.
Yeah, yeah,
You know, I mean,
and
where
that's the
there's
thing. But that's the
abuse,
thing
and
that
if not, it's not a nurturing environment for the children and for everybody involved.
well,
I mean, so we can't just cookie cutter we can't cookie cut these answers into these families. You know, the people who are together, we have to be able to say to them, you know, what are the agreements in your relationship? What are your two of you got to put your heads together and make rules for the relationship, and you got to follow through and you got to trust that the other person's going to do that and respect you.
yeah, but I think the word abuse is overused. I really
No,
do.
there is a such thing as
No, I
abuse.
didn't say it's
That's
not.
an
No,
actual
no, no. I
word.
didn't say that
It's
it's
a
not. I
real
didn't. No, no,
thing.
no, no, no. Listen, I did not say it's not real. I said it's overused because I've seen people use the word abuse to simply describe the fact that they were mad that they didn't get what they wanted.
Okay,
You know,
so that's
or
not
or
abuse.
seriously, like, and
That's
you
clearly not
and
abuse.
rarely, and it's usually the
I've
one.
heard people use abuse just by talking. If someone's saying something, just because you're talking and running your mouth, that's not abuse.
Right.
Abuse is a real thing. Like
Yeah.
abuse is when you are in a relationship and in the midst of anger toward the other person, you put them down, you call them names, you hit them, you strike them, you yell at them, you do these things to them where you put them down and you feel like you're better than them. That's abuse.
Right.
You
And
know,
but
so you're right.
and I don't think every allegation of abuse fits those criteria. I think that when you start getting into, I've just heard so many people say, "Oh, he was verbally abusive," and that,
Verbally
and
abusive is a thing.
I know it's a thing. Listen,
Uh-huh.
you're not listening to me. What I'm saying to you is that when people say, "Oh, he was verbally abusive or emotionally abusive,"
Mm-hmm.
I'm the guy who says, "Explain that. Like, tell me what you mean by that," because
Mm-hmm.
if I know that person well, I might say, well, no, you're calling it abusive because he stood up to you. He told you he wasn't going to do what you told him to do, so you define that to be abusive.
Okay, so that's not abusive, of course. But abuse, there's actual different forms of abuse, and there's actually definitions of abuse. There's total disrespect and total disregard for another person. So for
Okay,
sure that's not tolerable at all in relationships.
right. I agree.
You really should put an end to that because it's just not a good outcome.
Well, I would definitely say that
Hmm.
it's easier for me to believe somebody's abused if there was something physical that happened. If somebody's talking about emotional abuse, I think there has to be a deeper discussion of like, what exactly do you mean? What
Yeah,
exactly
well,
happened?
emotional.
Because I've just seen people claim emotional abuse when really the person claiming to be the victim was actually the perpetrator.
Okay.
They
Well,
would,
that happens all the
or
time.
you push somebody's buttons so much that they eventually respond to you, and then you say,
Hmm.
"Oh, you're abusing me." Well,
Well,
stop. Well,
amuse.
stop. Stop. I
Hmm.
mean, no, I'm just telling you. I know a guy who was a super nice guy, very kind, and his wife just kept nagging him and nagging him and nagging him. And one day he just like blurted out, like, "Stop it! Get the hell
Okay, so
out of my face."
emotional abuse. I just want to just jump in
Hmm.
here and just say, emotional abuse is when you hurt your partner's feelings, and the person is saying, "Okay, you hurt my feelings," and then your partner's like, "I don't give a fuck if I hurt your feelings. I don't care." You know what I mean? It's like, I don't care. So what? I hurt your feelings. So what? I called your name. So what? I said these things about you. I don't really care that you're hurt. So total disregard for your partner's feelings. That's emotional abuse.
Yeah,
Okay.
I tend to live in a world where I just believe that if you leave people
You
alone,
should care about other
if
people.
you let people just be, I think things are easier. And I think that sometimes we get in scenarios where people want to tell other people how to live
Well, you
and
can't do that.
what to think and what to do and what's appropriate and all
Hmm.
that. And I just really think that that doesn't really work.
Hmm.
So
Well, definitely in relationships, you don't want to. It can't just be one person calling the shots or another person calling the shots. It's a negotiated thing where two people get together and they say, "How are we going to do this?